myself. I got a little older and put the bottle back on the shelf. I got a little older, I put away those childish things. I got a little older, well, I got a little older.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Atlanta, Georgia for tonight's running of the SimPossible Racing League. We have the split series for you tonight, race number 2 of the truck season. And I'm Cameron Rich here with Carlos Acosta in the booth, manning those cameras as always. We're excited to bring you this from 3 Wide TV, and this should be a pretty fun race. Atlanta Motor Speedway is definitely one of the highlights of this season for the drivers. Of course, a lot of them love it. It's just it's an old, worn-out surface. We're going to see a lot of slipping and sliding tonight, and it's really going to be a fun race. But I believe we're going to do 67 laps around this 1.5 mile quad oval. It was reconfigured back in 1997 from a true oval to its current configuration, and that was the last time it was repaved. So that is one of the reasons why it is the slick surface that it is. Definitely a very unique challenge for all of these drivers in the SimPossible Race League. Of course, we have seen a few races here before in the B car series as well as trucks last season, and you know, I believe Dave Wilson, who's not here tonight, won both of those events. I do know he won the B car event. I have to look up on the truck series. But there's Kyle Zimmer. He is your last season truck series champion in that number 97 Ally Silverado. Currently third on the practice charts, for about 3/10 off the leader, Kevin Paskowicz, right now. Kevin Paskowicz put down a flyer early on in the session, 31.2, and it was about 4 or 5/10 faster than anyone else for the majority of the session. But we got about a minute and a half left to go here in practice, so everybody's just getting their last minute, probably qualifying runs in, just kind of you know, getting their last few laps of practice in, just trying to feel out the track, see what the weather is, see where the grip is. Of course, the track is very hot right now. It is about 84 degrees out ambient temperature, and the track about 111 degrees, which you know, is very hot for any track, especially here at Atlanta, which is a low grip surface anyway. So it's going to be a big challenge for these drivers tonight. And I see, you know, a couple of these drivers coming up pit road. It even looks slick down there, you know, at the reduced speed that we see coming off the apron. So definitely, I think tonight's race will be a challenge for all of the drivers involved, and it's definitely going to be something to watch, especially on the restarts. One thing that you always have to worry about here on the restarts and the initial start of the race, of course, is wheel spin, and those tires just tend not to hook up very well on this surface. They just don't want to really cooperate, just because of the low grip surface and because of the temperature, and you really have everything working against you in those situations. But we're gonna wrap up practice here in just a moment. About 10 seconds left, and we'll get you qualifying. I believe we do have single car qualifying, and the track surface is actually heating up quite a bit right now. We're up to 116 degrees in just a few seconds. So really, that Atlanta Motor Speedway sun, the famous Georgia sun, that's why they call it Hot Atlanta, definitely baking down on this track, and it's going to make it a bit more of a challenge. But you see the overview of the track right there, that quad oval shape, the Legends Oval right there on the front stretch, and we do actually, looks like it has some clouds have descended over the speedway, so I believe it might be a little bit cooler. Yes, it is about 99 degrees, which is still not cool, but it's a lot, you know, the way track temperature works on the sim, that will be a lot grippier than when we saw it in practice. So definitely we will see the time of Kevin Paskowicz, who's on your screen right now, that number 7 machine, his practice time at 31.2, I believe will absolutely be broken in qualifying. But we'll have to see. We'll see what kind of a line he runs here through turns 3 and 4, cuts it right down to that bottom of the track. Going to come off turn 4, get really close to that wall, and you can swing out here and just try to keep as tight as you can into turn number 1. Very wide corners here in Atlanta. They say that the half track is corners, and that is quite true. You see him right on the bottom of that turns 1 and 2, swing up wide out of turn 2, get up next to that wall on the backstretch, coming down the backstretch and into turn 3. You want to really, turn 3 is the bumpy end of the speedway. It's very bumpy down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. You really just want to kind of let that truck ride over those bumps, and he runs a 31.478, so he's actually a little bit slower than he was in practice, surprisingly enough. So we'll see what the times do as we progress through the field here, but it definitely looks like I might be wrong on my prediction as of yet. But Kyle Zimmer to the top of the board with a 31.368, so we are getting close to Paskowicz's 31.2 that he ran in practice. There's AJ Digby on the speedway right now. We'll see what kind of a lap time he's able to put up. He is on his flyer as we speak, just try not to get into the wall or something to disqualify his lap, and he's going to come off turn 4 right here and come across the line. We'll see what kind of a lap time he runs. 31.405 for him, so he goes through a second place right behind Kyle Zimmer. There's number 99 of Johnny Berardi on the track right now. He is your 6th place driver as of the moment, is your last driver to have taken time so far. And I do believe that he is running with a new setup on his rig. I saw on Facebook that he was tired of using buttons for, I believe, the gas or something, and he found a way to rig his pedals up to where he can use them. So we'll see if that is able to help him tonight. There's Fernando Matos on track right now, and that number 17. We'll see what kind of a lap he's able to put down. Helps us a little bit that these runs are a little bit staggered, so we can actually see most of them. Misses the apex in turn 1 a little bit. Actually, I think he might be abandoning his lap time altogether. He looks like he was a little bit slow through 1 and 2, and yes, he does. He pulls off the apron in turn 2. It might be just saying he's not going to want to put a run down or something like that, but definitely did abandon that lap time. There's Chris Roberge on the track. I believe he might be on his fly right now. A very good corner through 3 and 4. Was able to hook that apex very well. We'll see if that translates to a pretty fast lap time across the stripe, and he goes to 6th place, I believe. Fernando Matos was able to actually put a lap time down. It looks like he's just making slow laps around the speedway right now. Probably just trying to feel something out or something like that, because definitely a little bit off the pace, but I don't think that should be too much of a worry once we get to the race time. About a minute go left here in qualifying, and I don't really see anyone else on the track. Actually, yes, there's Alan Capers, the cone killer himself. We'll see, hopefully he doesn't hit cones during qualifying, because that will, I believe, disqualify his lap. And he goes to 7th place with a 32 flat so far. There's Thomas Wise on the track, and that looks like a new truck for him. A black and yellow machine, so looking like a bit of a bumblebee there, but a cool looking truck nonetheless. I believe these might be our last qualifying runs of the day, as soon as Thomas crosses the line right here. And yes, I don't see anyone else on track, so it looks like that Kyle Zimmer will be your pole sitter, and starting off where he left off last week with, of course, he did win that race, and he is your points leader as of that win, and he's going to start the race here tonight in the best possible position that he can. So 12 trucks here tonight, and we'll get the grid for you in just a moment. And on the pole, as we said, that number 25 of Kyle Zimmer. Actually, I do believe he has a 97 on his truck for whatever reason. Might be from another league, but is the 25 in this league. And to his outside, AJ Digby in the number 14 machine. Rolling off third, we have your fastest car in practice, Kevin Paskowicz. See if he can do something tonight, as well as Billy Wise to his outside in the 4th position. Nate Catilla and Chris Roberge are going to be your 2 drivers in the 3rd row. Of course, Nate starting in 5th and Chris starting 6th. Rolling off in 7th, we have the Clone Killer himself, Alan Capus, and to his outside, Johnny Berardi in that number 99 machine. Your final drivers to take time tonight is number 1 of Thomas Wise and number 17 of Fernando Matos. We'll roll off the last 3 drivers for you real quick. Tom Johnson, Matthew Wisniewski, who do not believe actually gridded, and Brian Lowhead are going to round off your field. So we have 13 trucks tonight, I believe, but only 12 have look like they have taken time. Not sure what happened to Mr. Wisniewski there, but he obviously did not take a time. So we are going to just get rolling here for you in a moment. Had a bit of a trade pains issue, I believe, refreshing the field. That's why you see flashing cars. No, don't adjust your computer monitor or anything. And we have the correct cars for everyone right now, so that's pretty good. But coming through turn 4 right now, field doubled up, field in the hands of the starter. He has the green flag in his hand right now. And there we go. We see a little bit of wheel spin on the start for a lot of drivers. Looks like a lot of drivers had trouble getting going. The pole sitter Kyle Zimmer had a lot of issues himself, and looks like AJ Digby is going to be the beneficiary. Kevin Paskowicz actually on the apron, so was not able to make. Ooh, we have a trouble in the back a little bit. It's like the 56 of Tom Johnson, as well as I believe that's the number 4 of Catilla, have gotten in trouble. So not really much to speak of right now. Not really able to get through one lap of racing. It looks like a bit of a mess on that restart because, like we were saying in the pre-race, we had a couple of trucks on the apron. An accident already happened here in front of the number 1 of Thomas Wise. We had a few trucks on the 8th though, and looks like that might have bunched up the field, and we saw some on that weren't able to get going very well, and I think that just was a product of that stack up. But it looks like, yeah, look, number 4 of Catilla got in trouble and nowhere to go for the 56. And we'll have to see if we can get to the replay of that, because he definitely spun out well before Tom Johnson got there. We'll look here on the replay. So looks like the 4. Yeah, he got a little bit loose and got into the number 98 of Chris Roberge. What a good save by Roberge there. He never spun the car around. He has some damage on the left side of the truck from that contact, but he never spun it around. So good piece of driving on his part to not get in more trouble than he was. I believe he might take a fast repair though, because that left side is quite crinkled up. We'll have to wait and see if he does, because that is something we do in this league, is 4 fast repairs for all of these drivers, and we have seen on occasion where that can be a strategy call, where drivers choose not to take fast repairs and instead just fix the truck up, because you want to save all your fast repairs for the end of the race in case something happens, because you don't want yourself to be caught in a situation where you don't have any left. You need to have them, because that we have seen that end races before. So definitely something to look for. I believe he actually is just going to fix the truck. So bit of strategy played on Chris Roberge's part right now. And I believe both the 4 and the 56 are on pit road. It looks like they are having to tow or are just fixing their damage, because they both are 1 lap down as of now. And we'll have to see if they can get something going, maybe get a lap back later on, but not the way both of those drivers want to start off tonight's race. Should have a pretty quick question here. I believe the pace car lights are going to go off this time. We'll see if they do, and indeed they do. So we're going to be going green here, and not much racing to have happened so far. Only about 2 corners of green flag racing for the front half of the field. But we'll go ahead and reset your top 5 real quick. AJ Digby is your leader. Billy Wise is your second place driver. So pole sitter Kyle Zimmer not able to get going there on the start, so he lost a few spots. And we'll see if this start can be a little bit better for the field, because definitely all of them will know what to expect for how those tires will hook up. And I believe we might see a bit of a cleaner start. But Alan Capers and Kevin Paskowicz rounding out your top 5, and not much position changing right now. I believe your biggest mover so far is Alan Capers in that 13. He is up 3 positions. And Brian Lowhit also up position, so of course not much opportunity to make ground up when you only have 2 corners of green flag racing, but hopefully we can get some green flag racing here and we'll see how it goes. Pace car is going to take that hard left onto pit road. Field in the hands of the 14 of AJ Digby. We'll see what kind of a restart everybody's able to get this time, and everybody looks like they're getting going pretty well. Not a good start for the number 99 of Johnny Berardi, who was behind the 13 of Alan Capers. It looks like the front half of the field was able to get going a lot better this time around, and looks like here comes Kyle Zimmer. He's going to challenge Billy Wise for that second spot. He wants to get back where he started this race, and that was at the front. He's going to have to pass Billy Wise as well as that 14 of Digby in front of him, but Billy Wise not giving it up easily. He's fighting back on that high side. We know that high side here at Atlanta is pretty strong. If you can hold it up there pretty well, you can get a good run off the corner and really hold your position. We're seeing that right now. Billy Wise able to hold off Kyle Zimmer for the time being, but I believe Kyle Zimmer will get the spot. He does have the preferred groove in turn 1 here. We have 2 packs forming with the first 5 cars as well as the next few. So Kyle Zimmer gets around Billy Wise to go into the second spot. Now Billy Wise is under fire from Kevin Paskowicz as well as Alan Capers. It looked like he was thinking about 3 wide for a moment there, but wisely backs off of that. Working lap 6 here, not the time to be forcing things. Kevin Paskowicz looks like he had some issues there. Ooh, there's a car on the front stretch who had some issues there. I didn't see who it was. Looks like that's Nate Catilla. Not sure what happened there, but he was right in the middle of the racing service before he pulled off of the Legends Oval area. Right there, you see something happened to him, and he just was right there on the speedway. See, he was by himself off turn 4. Ooh, there was a truck that was in front of him, and Nate Catilla just absolutely lost it when he made an avoid, and that's Johnny Berardi in the 99 right there. So he got some issues, and Nate Catilla just hit the wall avoiding him. So definitely, looks like some contact from behind for Berardi there from the 98 of Christopher Burge, and it looks like he had the truck saved, but just lost at the very end. Right through the pit entry and right in the path of Nate Catilla. Bit of a hard contact there with the wall, and then here comes Nate Catilla right behind him, and just kind of looks like Berardi was having trouble getting going again. Yeah, so that's he spun the tires up trying to get going again, and just kind of looks like Nate Catilla just nowhere to go. He, rightfully so, kind of freaked out, or not really freaked out, but when you see a car doing that in front of you, you're going to make an avoiding move, and just not enough grip in the track for that to work. So unfortunate for him. Of course, he is now 3 laps down because he was involved in the first wreck, not able to get the lucky dog of being involved in that wreck. But looks like most of the leaders electing to come down pit road, led by AJ Digby. Billy Wise electing to stay out right now. We have working lap number 9, I believe. And one thing we haven't really mentioned so far yet is that it goes without saying at a track like this, but tires are so important. There's Alan Capers. Looks like, I don't know if he actually pitted or not, because looks like he definitely did miss his stall, so driving straight through pit road. But one thing we haven't really mentioned, but it does go without saying at a track like this, is the tires here are paramount, really. This is a track where tires absolutely make a world of difference, even, just a couple laps. So if Billy Wise elects to stay out on the racetrack, he probably is going to have a bit of a handful trying to hold on to his position with everybody else on 4 fresh tires. And, he might be just staying out to lead a lap. That definitely is a thing that happens here in SimPossible. Of course, getting that lap lead bonus. And we might see if Alan Capers will do that too. I actually believe he's going to come down pit road and just maybe do what he was not able to do last time. And actually, no, he looks like he's staying out. as I say that, he pulls down pit road. So I think he's just trying. He might be listening to the broadcast, just trying to fool me. But either way, Billy Wise is staying out on the racetrack, I believe, and he might be the leader on the restart. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to have at least 2 more pace laps here. Coming through turn number 4 right now. I believe the pace car light should be going on off this time, so we are going to be going back green here in just a moment, and indeed they do. So the field will double up, and the field will be in the hands of that number 32 of Billy Wise. And this will be an interesting restart because, of course, he did not elect to come down pit road. He is the only driver to not come down pit road at this time. Of course, has 10-lap old tires. Compared to everyone else's 4 fresh tires, which doesn't sound like a lot, but here at Atlanta, that is a world of difference. So we'll have to see about wheel spin on this restart for that 32. Now we have seen it on the initial start with the cars with fresh tires, so he's going to have to really make sure to keep that truck going straight, really ease into that throttle, treat it like it's an egg, and just really, be as gentle as he can. And of course, that truck right behind him, Kyle Zimmer, I believe he was in second place before the caution. He's going to have to be aware of that 32 and his lesser ability to have grip in the tires, just because they are a little bit older. So he's going to have to give him a little bit of a break on this restart, and everybody should be able to get going just fine. But definitely will be interesting to see how it works. And for Billy Wise, if it doesn't work, it's still early enough in the race for it to not hurt him too bad. But green flag is out, and it looks like he did get going pretty well. A lot better than I thought he might have originally, and but he did lose the lead already to AJ Digby. But he is going straight pretty well. We'll see how he is through turns 1 and 2. Looks like he is holding his own pretty well. Ooh, trouble in the back, big trouble. Looks like the 13 was involved. I saw the 7 of Kevin Pasquich involved there as well. There he is sliding down the racetrack on the apron, and we'll have to wait. We'll have to go back and wait, or go back and see what happened there. Big damage for the 7 of Pasquich. Obviously, that truck is smoking a lot, and looks like we had 3 wide there. Just really ran out of room. Those three trucks just kind of going for the same space on the racetrack, and unfortunately, it did give all of those trucks damage. And I believe the worst off of that was the 7 truck. Pasquich has a lot of damage on his vehicle. 13 not very well off either. There's Chris Verberge in it. Johnny Berardi, I think he made it through. Very close there. But I do believe he made it through without damage, or maybe he didn't. I'm not sure, but definitely a pretty big accident here at Atlanta on lap number 13. And we're going to go to commercial here real quick, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be back right after these messages.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, everybody, welcome back, Atlanta. We're working caution number 3 on tonight's event, and I believe we are going to be set to go green here in just a moment. Pace car lights are off. Field in the hands of Billy Wise, and he was able to get by AJ Digby on those older tires on the last restart, so definitely an interesting move there. Very good on his part to be able to do that, and we'll see if he can hold the field off for a little bit on this next restart. But pace car is pulling off the track once again. See if we can get some green flag racing here. Green flag is out. Field gets going. AJ Digby gets another good restart on that outside line. Billy Wise having some trouble. Ooh, looks like he's going to get into the 17 of Fernando Matos. They have a bit of a stack up there. Billy Wise got sideways. Matos is smoking. Looks like we have a truck in the back who's smoking, and I believe that Race Control will throw a caution for that in just a moment. Brian Lowhead involved, and looks like Johnny Berardi involved as well. So definitely not a good start here for this this part of the race. And indeed, Race Control has thrown the caution flag out. So that's caution number 4 of tonight's event. Not a great start, green flag racing wise, but this is Atlanta. This is a tough track with tough conditions, and we might have expected this a little bit. Definitely going to take a bit of time for these drivers to feel out the grip out in the conditions, and we have seen what that has entailed tonight. But they will get it going, and of course, always SimPossible puts on a good show once they do get it going, and it will be something to watch or it will be something good to watch once we get to that point. That 32, as we were saying in the pre-race, just never really got the tires hooked up on that start, and you know, as well as he did on the last restart, that doesn't guarantee anything for the next one. So definitely, you know, the tires just never hooked up for him, and he just got kind of crossed up on the steering a little bit, and you know, that's what happens. But it's like the typical Atlanta wreck. You see the issues on restarts here all the time, so it definitely will be a talking point all night, I believe. I'm gonna go on board here with Brian Lowhead. You see just you know, nowhere to go. He can't make an evasive move because he's too wide, and just, you know, if he makes an evasive move, he runs the risk of kind of taking someone else out, or, you know, something like that. So just really not much he can do there. Just has to kind of hold his line and hope for the best, and of course the best did not come to him, so unfortunate for that. But we are working caution number 4 here, and of course that does put AJ Digby back in the lead. Of course, those pace car lights have now gone off, so we're going to be going back green here once again. Hopefully we can get some green flag racing here. I want to see what these guys can do. Of course, the track conditions are very... Actually, I just looked at it myself, and the track is the hottest it's been all weekend, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So that might explain part of the reason why we are having a bit of issue here with the... finding some grip, but I think these drivers will adapt to it and get it figured out here. But everybody was able to get their trucks all fixed up and back going here under this caution. Of course, number 17 of Fernando Matos unfortunately lost a lap because he did not beat the field out of the pits from having his accident. But actually, if we can get a shot on the number 98, oh, never mind. He did have the cone under his truck for a little bit. He was dragging it around the track, and I thought it might have became an issue, but he kind of kicked it off came off the splitter, so everything is fine there. But the pace car is off. field in the hands of AJ Digby once again. And it looks like everybody's going to get going here at green. You see some of the trucks get a little bit sideways. And of course, everybody has fresh tires now. Ooh, the one looks like he's sideways, but he was able to gather it up. He got a big help from behind with Billy Wise giving him a good a break there. Ooh, some trouble close there through 1 and 2. There was almost contact, but it looks like everybody was able to keep it straight, and we are safely through 1 and 2. So down the backstretch here, single file for the first few positions. Looks like there's no change of position just yet. Your top 4, Digby, Zimmer, Pasquich, and Capers, they have broken away from the number 98, I believe, Chris Burge, by about a second or two. Right on board here with the number 5 of Zimmer. See what kind of a line he's running through 1 and 2. He's a little bit lower than that 14 you see. 14 of Digby running a little bit higher on that racetrack, maybe to kind of keep that truck wound up, keep those tires on it a little bit longer. That's something we typically see with AJ. He's very fast, but sometimes has a tendency to burn the stuff up a little bit quickly. So he's it's definitely going to be something to watch out for tonight, because it is so easy to burn your stuff up at this racetrack, and once it goes, it does not come back at all, and it only gets worse from there. So saving tires going to be a paramount factor in today's event. Not much engine here with the top 4. Actually, with most of the field, it's like we are single file throughout. There's no battle for position right now, so maybe we're just trying to get settled in and get some green flag laps kicked off and get to the end of the race. Here's on board with Alan Capers. Of course, not hitting the cone right now, because under green flag, that is the slower way around the track, hitting the cone. Most drivers are choosing to run a lane up or so in 1 and 2, so that seems to be the preferred groove. We'll see if that moves up even further on as tonight's race goes. Looks like in 3 and 4, definitely the preferred groove is right next to that white line. But as I say that, Digby moves up a little bit on the exit and runs about 2 grooves up from where from where Zimmer was. So we'll see which of those 2 grooves turns out to be the superior one. But the lead for Digby up to about 0.5 of a second. He is a little bit quicker than Zimmer. He was 0.2 quicker the last time by, so we'll see if Zimmer is choosing to save his tires, or if Digby just is quicker at this stage in the race. And definitely in a few laps, once those tires start to wear off, and they definitely will, and really it's like a cliff, you know, the tires just, they go so quickly that it's almost like somebody switches the handling on the truck with a light switch, and you just kind of lose it all at once, and I think we will see that tonight. But pretty spread out here for the entire field. Best battle for position is actually in the back. There's a bit of a hornet's nest, starting with Tom Johnson in 8th, all the way back to I believe it was the 1 of Thomas Wise. A couple lap trucks in there as well. Catilla and Berardi, or excuse me, that's Fernando Matos there. Of course, Fernando Matos is 1 lap down. He needs to, he is your lucky dog recipient right now if a caution were to come out. Nate Catilla right in front of him, multiple laps down. Here we are in front a little bit further with Chris Burge. He is riding right behind Alan Capers in the 5th position, with Billy Wise behind them as well. So, of course, Billy was, he had the old tires on the last restart and was not able to get going, and was the root cause of that accident. But he is going pretty well right now with those 4 fresh tires. Definitely doing pretty good on them so far. Back here at the front, looking from AJ Digby, it looks like Kyle Zimmer has chopped that lead to 0.4 of a second, so getting a little bit closer. He was a little bit a little bit faster last lap, but just under 0.1 of a second. So a little bit sideways from 14 off turn number 4 there. You might be seeing the tires already starting to go away on these machines. This is a fairly short race tonight. Of course, only 67 laps, and we are getting pretty close to halfway. In about 3 laps time, we will be there. No bonus points, of course, for leading at halfway, but it is something that everybody wants to do regardless. And that number 25 of Zimmer. Of course, it is a 97 on your screen, but it is getting closer lap by lap to the 14. Now the lead down to just under 0.2 of a second, and I believe we might have a battle for the lead here in just a moment. Top turn number 2 looks like not able to use momentum. Might have into that dirty air just a little bit. Maybe lost some front downforce on that truck, but still right there behind AJ Digby through 3 and 4. Looks like Zimmer is able to run a little bit lower through 1 and 2, and that might be helping him off the corner. He does have a pretty good run right here. We'll see if he makes a move. I believe he's going to look, but I might not be able to make it. That high line can hold its own through 3 and 4. If you can kind of pinch that bottom car down a little bit, which we see Digby doing. He's pinching that 25 all the way down to the white line, and Digby's going to hold the lead off turn 4. But I think that Zimmer is a little bit faster at this stage of the run, and we might see him just overpower that 14 in just a moment. Through 1 and 2, that Digby on that high line, but we just got a little bit tight off of turn 2 there. I think that was all that Zimmer needed to take the lead. We'll see if he can clear him through 3 and 4. I believe he might, and indeed he has right now. But Digby not giving up. He's going to fight back on the outside. We'll see how much of a effort he can give it. But I think that Zimmer has cleared him, so really not much Digby can do at this point. And lurking there right at the top of your screen is that number 7 of Kevin Paskowicz. He is right behind this battle, about 0.7 of a second behind these two racing. So if these two start racing each other pretty hard, he will be in the thick of things pretty quickly. So definitely liking what he's seeing out of his windshield right now. Everybody getting coming up on the lap truck of Johnny Berardi. Ooh, he's in the wall, sideways in turn 1. See if he can keep it straight. I believe that he is in the grass, but no caution, and I don't believe there will be a caution thrown for that if he can get it back going again. And I do think he has. Indeed, he has gotten it going again back on the asphalt. Actually, not just yet. Now he is. So he'll get back going again, and we'll stay under green. As I say that, we have a caution for something on the racetrack. I'm not sure if that was it or if we have another issue. Looks like the one of Thomas Wise is in trouble. We'll have to see what happened to him, but definitely off the pace. I believe on the 3 and 4, or the turns 3 and 4 side of the speedway. He's racing there with Nate Catilla. Looks like might have been some contact. Ooh, Nate Catilla got spun around by him, and Thomas Wise also going for a ride himself. So Nate Catilla getting bounced around a little bit in this race so far. Probably not enjoying his night as it's going. But I think everybody was pretty fine. I don't think there was really too much damage there for either truck. Nate Catilla did get in the wall pretty hard with that rear end as well as the front, so he's probably going to have to come get a fast repair. But he is 5 laps down on the night bar, so definitely, like we said, not having the best night. Probably not too happy with the way his race has gone so far. I definitely do think we will see most of the field, if not everybody, come down pit road. We did have a few laps there under green, and I think actually, as I say that, Alan Caper is electing to stay out. I believe he might be just doing that to lead a lap. If we can get the director to go back live here for a moment. There we go. Now we're back live, and Alan Capers, who did stay out, he's going to hit that blue cone right there, and he did tell me during the pre-race that he was going to make a drinking game out of it for me, and believe that it was a shot every time he hit the blue cone, and 2 for every time he hits the green cone. So hopefully, I might be dead here pretty soon, but we'll wait and see on that. Either way, he did stay out. He was the only truck to stay out on the track right now. And like we said, I think he will be pitting this time, just getting a lap led on the night. Interesting enough, he does stay out once again, so we'll have to see if he does actually come down pit road, or he tries his luck on those old tires with everybody else on fresh tires. But we still have at least 2 more pace laps, so still plenty of time for him to make that decision if he wants to stay out or not. Now, looks like that 13 of Alan Capers is going to stay out on the racetrack, so we'll have to wait and see once again if he's able to get those tires hooked up and get going cleanly. But definitely has already made his bed, and he thinks he can keep those tires hooked up on the restart. So everybody else in the field electing to come down pit road, he will probably have a bit of a tough time, at least after turns 1 and 2, to hold his position. But we did see Billy Wise able to hold on to his spot pretty well after he stayed out, but I believe he had a few laps less on his tires, so definitely will be interesting to watch. But I want to give a shout out to Mr. I can't say your name, but it's CJ the Dude 3234 saying what up. Well, what up to you too? Thank you for joining us. Hope you like what you're seeing. We'll get back going green flag racing here in just a moment. We're working turns 3 and 4 right now, and pace car is going to be pulling off in just a few seconds. Indeed, it is going to do so right now. Flagman has the green flag in his hands, waiting to throw it out. And of course, all of these starts here in the SimPossible Racing League are on that Flagman. Green flag is out. Alan Capers is able to get going pretty well, actually. Pretty good restart for him. And looks like most of the field able to get going. Most of the field able to get going there pretty well. So Alan Capers is holding through 1 and 2 pretty well. And looks like Zimmer under fire from Digby. Digby is actually going to be looking for the lead here in just a moment. See if he can get by Zimmer and clear Capers as well. Capers electing to run a little bit high in 3 and 4. Ooh, slide up track a little bit. Contact with Zimmer, but good job by Zimmer to keep out of everything. There was some, I believe there were 4 wide there for a moment. Capers going sliding through the grass, lock the brakes up, but he's going to spin it around right here, see if he can get it going without a caution coming out. He's nosed into the wall, and see if race control does something about that, but that is the only car involved, and that's something we were talking about. He just, those old tires, that's the risk you take. He was doing a great job holding his position all the way to turn 3, just did not have the grip to hold off Zimmer. Zimmer got shoved up all the way to the outside wall, and did a good job keeping out of it, not making any contact. But that did move Billy Wise right there on the screen up to 2nd place, so good on that. And and Billy Wise actually is catching Bigby little by little. It was a little bit faster last lap. Or excuse me, about the same lap time, not faster, but doing a good job on that. There's Alan Capers on the inside of the track. He just passed him. He did get the cone once again, but I do believe that he did not come down pit road. Still having some trouble with that truck. It is quite damaged on the front and rear. So we'll see if he comes down pit road, and indeed he looks like he's going to right now. Probably just not driving very well. Old tires and damage, not a good combination, especially at a track like this. But either way, back here at the front, there's Kyle Zimmer and Billy Wise going at it for the second place. Kyle Zimmer a little bit quicker than Billy right now. We're on board with him through 3 and 4. And of course, Billy Wise having a pretty quiet night so far. Of course, we saw him stay out and was involved in an accident earlier, but doing a good job, having a pretty low-key Billy Wise race so far, just not really making too much noise, but doing a great job nonetheless. And AJ Digby extending that lead to about 0.7 of a second right now. One of the bigger leads we've seen tonight. Of course, it's not easy to get away in these trucks, but Digby is doing so. About 22 laps to go right now, so this race is going by pretty quickly. And if we can stay green, we really won't have that much time left to race. There's Johnny Berardi on pit road. We saw Alan Capers come off the pit road just a few seconds ago. Still didn't have the damage fix on that truck, but probably electing to take tires. Here comes Kyle Zimmer on Billy Wise, and that battle was pretty short-lived. And we might see some pit stops for these top trucks. We are running 60% fuel here in this series, so definitely something to watch out for. I don't know if we can make it to the end or not. And but definitely, if we can't, tires are an issue. We might see that come into play because the fall-off, as we were talking about, with the wear that these tires go through, is pretty substantial. One of the largest that we actually have to deal with in all of NASCAR and in the SimPossible Racing League. But Zimmer able to get around Billy Wise there, and he's seeing if he can go catch that number 14 of Digby. Digby's extended his lead to about 1.5 seconds, so that definitely is the biggest lead we've seen all night. And Digby about 0.3 of a second faster than Zimmer last time by, so definitely he's doing a great job so far and really showing that he is the one to beat at this stage in the race. 20 laps to go. Pretty single file throughout right now. The best battle is right here. That's the battle for the third position. Billy Wise, Kevin Paskowicz going at it. Excuse me, Kyle Zimmer was at the head of that battle. Here's Tom Johnson. He's racing with the number 98 of Chris Burge. That's for 6th place. So these two drivers, words there are pretty hard. This battle there. Also Fernando Matos and Thomas Wise in that battle. Back here at the front, Kyle Zimmer leading a couple trucks behind him. And Billy Wise not really letting Kyle Zimmer get away too incredibly far. Of course, Zimmer is in front of Wise so far, or right now, but really has not let that number 25 get away. AJ Digby continuing to extend his lead up to about 2 seconds right now over Kyle Zimmer, so definitely putting on a clinic with about 18 laps to go. So if everything goes well, he might get his first win of the Truck Series split, and we'll have to wait and see though. Definitely a lot of racing left to go. I want to give a quick shout out to Kevin Finn in chat. Hello Kevin, how are you doing? Good luck tonight in your race. I know you are going to be racing later on tonight in the 3-Wide Racing League. A little bit further back, here's the gaggle of cars we were talking about earlier. Tom Johnson, Fernando Matos, Thomas Wise all going at it. This is for the 7th position. Tom Johnson has it. Those other two drivers want it. And not far in front of this fellow is Chris Burge, about 1 second up the road. He's holding 6th place, kind of in his own little part of the racetrack right now, about 3.5 seconds behind 5th, which is currently occupied by Brian Lowhead, who, of course, did not qualify. Never qualifies in this league. The perennial non-qualifier, but definitely never finishes there. Just likes to make it fun for himself, which is, fine, and definitely works out for him pretty well. It's like we've kind of settled down throughout most of the field. Everybody's single file, kind of spaced out, somewhat. Kyle Zimmer a little bit loose off turn number 2. We're definitely going to see these tires kind of scorch themselves in the last part of this race. Ooh, there's the one of Thomas Wise. He got in the wall a little bit. It looks like that truck got what I like to call the death wiggle off turn 2. Once you get loose, those tires really never come back to you, and definitely just got in the wall pretty hard. It's like he's still not able to get it going very well. That truck probably not driving well at all anymore. And he was in that battle for the 7th position, definitely not in it anymore. And we have a caution on the racetrack right now, so we'll have to... Ooh, there is a truck on its nose. That's Kevin Paskowicz, and I have not ever seen that in my life. A nose stand like that. We'll have to go back and see what happened there, because what happened there, that raises so many questions. Coming off turn, and just, oh my goodness, he found a glitch, and wow. That is absolutely insane. That was a wrong place, wrong time right there. Just got a little bit loose off turn 2, got the death wiggle, and hit a glitch spot in the safer barrier, and it launched the truck. What a ride from inside for that truck. I have never seen that before in my life, but there's a first time for everything, and saw that truck get pitched up onto his nose, and I believe it killed the motor. It most certainly had to, because he had to take a tow, and he is going to be quite well and truly out of the running for this event if he has to tow for more than, say, 30 seconds, which he probably will, because it was on the backstretch. But everybody electing to come down pit road here. AJ Digby followed by Kyle Zimmer and Billy Wise coming down pit road. I don't think anyone electing to stay out. Actually, Christopher Burge is, and Alan Capers as well, but he is a few laps down. Christopher Burge electing to stay out on the track right now. We'll see if that's to lead a lap, or if he's actually going to throw the dice and try to be in the lead with, I believe we're going to have about 9 laps to go on the restart. And looks like, Billy Wise coming off pit road first, followed by Digby and Zimmer. We'll see if Billy took 4 tires. I do believe that he took 4. No, Billy, 2 tires from 32. So interesting strategy call right there. And like Digby's gonna be the first car on 4 tires. But Roku, some trouble there under caution. The Ford Make still has spun around on the backstretch. His bad night continues, whatever happened there. But I want to give a quick shout out to both Jeff Schmidt and Wesley Lee in chat. Wesley Lee, of course, an Alan Capers fan, comes in most of our broadcasts just to show his love and support for Alan Capers. So we do welcome both of you. Jeff Schmidt, of course, the owner operator of the SimPossible Racing League, and Christopher Burge electing to come down pit road, so he's not going to try to chance it on the older tires, but definitely did get the point for the lap led, so that might be all he wanted to do. All right, pace car lights are off, so we're going to be getting back going racing here in just a moment. 9 laps to go we will have once we get going green. And Billy Wise right there, your leader on the inside front row, taking 2 tires on the pit stop. We'll see how that works out for him. I do believe he will might have a bit of trouble getting going, picking those left side tires up a little bit on the restart, but should not have an issue with actually the initial restart. But definitely will be interesting to restart, and if we can get a few laps under green here, we might be able to see a green flag finish, but that remains to be seen. Bill Wise has, of course, done a good job all day. Was running solidly in the top 3 on pure speed, and we'll see if he can use those 2 tires to his advantage and maybe hold the 4 tire machines of Kyle Zimmer and Digby, who are right behind him, off. Of course, those 2 drivers have been the dominant drivers today so far. And we'll see if Digby can get back to where he was running. He had about a 2-second lead when that caution came out, so probably not too thrilled about it coming out. But pace car is coming off right now. Field in the hands of that 32 of Billy Wise. Flag man holding the green flag in his hand, and green flag we go. Tire spin for the 32, and I think we're going to have another caution here. Yes, we are. So not able to get the tires hooked up there, and of course, looks like we have a bit of a mess down in turn 1. A few trucks still wrecking. There's the 4 of Catilla, Johnny Berardi involved, Tom Johnson involved. That definitely was after the initial wreck. There's Billy Wise there, who was pretty well out of the way by then, but we had a Brian Lowhead and looks like Fernando Matos. There was a secondary accident because of that first one, and definitely it involved about half the field right there, it looks like. So we'll have to see if we can get a better view on that. Here's the view from Brian Lowhead's point of view. Actually was able to... Brian Lowhead getting loose. He was by the accident, and just, my goodness, he got hit by everybody, it seems. So that was a pretty massive accident right there, and looks like most of the field was involved in it some way or another. So on board with Alan Capers. He's right behind Chris Roberge, and he don't think he got lucky with the famous iRacing netcode. Just drove through that spinning car, because he definitely would have been, that car would have been absolutely toast had he not done that. But either way, that does give the lead back to that 14 of AJ Digby, who I believe has led the most laps in this race and definitely has shown that he is the favorite. There's Kyle Zimmer on pit road. Of course, he got a piece of that accident. Bit of damage on the front of that machine on the right side, so it definitely going to want to come down and fix that for the last few laps of this race. I don't believe that tires should be too much of a factor, because we really didn't get going there. Didn't even get through turn 1 and 2 before the caution came out. So I don't think that the drivers that elect to pit on this sequence of pit stops will be at that much of an advantage, if at all, once we get back going green here. All right, 1 lap to green, so it looks like we're going to have about a 3-lap shootout to the end, so this will be the last green flag of the night. No doubt about that. Hopefully we can get a green flag finish, but let's reset the field for you because we had a bit of a shake up there on that last restart with the caution. Your leader, AJ Digby, right there on the inside of the front row, and to his outside, Chris Roberge. He's had a pretty quiet night himself. I believe that's the highest he's been up all night in second place, and the number 1 of Thomas Wise in third, doing a good job to stay out of trouble. Brandon Matos has a bit of damage on that truck, but he is in the 4th position, and Kyle Zimmer, who we saw involved in that last accident, is in the 5th spot. Of course, he does have fresh tires on the machine, so we'll see if that does prove any benefit. I don't believe it will because we didn't have much racing. But hopefully we can get a green flag finish nonetheless, and this should be a good race at the end here. We'll see if Chris Roberge or maybe that number 1 of Thomas Wise can do something about Digby. Of course, Digby has led the most laps tonight and definitely wants to get a win on the series so far. Pace car pulling off on the pit road right now. Field in the hands of Digby. We'll see if he can get a good restart. Indeed, he does. Gets going very well. Everybody might have been a bit of a stack up behind him. So Digby, of course, looks like he is pretty much set sail for this race. Really not much anyone can do about that. We have close racing behind them. Looks like Thomas Wise not able to get going very well, has lost a few positions right now. We have 3 wide on the backstretch. Fernando Matos, Alan Capers, and Zimmer were 3 wide for a moment, but they did sort that out. Kevin Pasquich in the wall. He's sideways in the wall hard. I think that will bring out caution. Yes, it does, and that's going to end the race right there. We're going to end under caution, unfortunately, but your winner is going to be that number 14 of AJ Digby. If he can make, I believe, 2 more laps under the pace car here, if he can make it back to the line and see if he can get back to the finish. But Pasquich there, of course, that's the car the truck we saw on its nose a few laps ago. Of course, he did have a good night, was solidly in the top 3 for most of it, but just had some bad luck and not able to close the deal out, and definitely it has gone from bad to worse. He's actually already retired his car for the night, so unfortunate to see that. Unfortunate to see a good night go south so quickly like that, and that's just that's part of racing. Got kind of messed up by an iRacing glitch, unfortunately, where we saw that car get kind of tossed around in the air. An accident that really shouldn't have been that bad, but that's just kind of the risk you take with a simulator like this, and that stuff just tends to happen. But either way, here's your top 3 right there. There's Digby, Roberge, and Billy Wise. And if these 3 trucks can make it around for 1 more lap, that's going to be your top 3 finishers for the night. And through turns 3 and 4, behind the pace car, your winner right there in that number 14 machine, his first win of this split series as well as the truck side of it, is going to be the 14 of AJ Digby. He's going to come across the line, and the kazoos are going off. What a good win for him. Definitely came out here and had a fast truck, showed it. Started in the 2nd position and kind of just really he had a lot of speed all race long, and definitely a good result. But Chris Roberge and Billy Wise coming home with good finishes themselves. Kyle Zimmer not able to make much ground up, of course, because of the caution, going to finish in 4th. And Fernando Matos in that damaged car coming home in 5th. That car is smoking. If we can get a camera shot on that number 17, that definitely is not a truck that should be finishing in the 5th position. So definitely a good job on his part. A lot of damage on that machine, and He's probably pretty lucky that the race did not go back green, but either way, we're gonna let these drivers celebrate. We're gonna let everybody get their thoughts collected, and we'll be right back for you in a moment with some interviews. All right, we're back here at Atlanta. Well, I'm back here. I had to go use the bathroom for just a moment. I've caught up with our third place finisher of the night, Billy Wise. Billy Wise, this is Cameron Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
All right, man. Well, pretty solid run for you tonight. Had top 3 speed all night long, and just definitely came out and had a very solid race. Kind of just take it through in your own eyes.
Oh man, it was crazy. We were up front, we were in the back, we were in the middle. It was kind of fun trying to get back to the front once we went to the back. So I don't know, maybe a little caution heavy, but we were all having fun in chat there, just having a good time with it.
Yeah, it looks like the track was very treacherous tonight. Of course, the track temperature in the 120 degree range. How did the truck handle for the majority of the night?
Yeah, it was very hot, very slick. At first, it would be kind of tight, and then within 5 or 10 laps, especially in traffic on the bottom, it'd get real loose on you. And restarts, my bad, on at least 2, maybe 3 restarts there. And on the bottom, with old tires or even 2 tires, it was just really Tetris on the restarts.
Yeah, definitely. We did see that come into play a few times tonight, and that's one of the characteristics of this racetrack, being the old surface. It really is a pain on the restarts. But either way, good result for you, and doing a good job in this split series, getting the good finishes racked up. Next Monday, we do go back to the K&N car, where you have a win so far in the season, and we're going to Thompson, the short track. How are you looking forward to that race?
Looking forward to it. Thompson's oldie but goodie. We did a fun race, I want to say, last weekend or 2 weeks ago there, and had a good time with it, so it should be a good time.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you talking to us. Before we let you go, though, we're going to give you a chance to give some shout-outs and people you want to thank and all that.
Sure, got to give a big shout out to magicalbutter.com. Check them out. And ASF, we have them on the truck tonight. actionsportsfoundation.org. And we got SoFlo. If you haven't heard of them, go to any of your music media outlets and search SoFlo rock reggae music. Thank you.
All right, Billy. Well, congrats on finishing third place tonight. Hope to talk to you again next week.
Thank you.
That was your third place finisher. Of course, Billy Wise. Let's see if we can find Christopher Burge somewhere down here. And I just did find him. All right, Chris. This is Cam Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, man. Well, good place finish for you tonight. Looks like you you were right up there in the top 5 or so all night. Kind of stuck your way up to the second position. Take us through the race in your own eyes.
Well, one, I apologize for telling you what happened to earlier because I didn't expect him brake too soon on me on the corner. The track was so hot. It's really, really slick, really terrible in some corners and all that. And it's a little tight too, some areas. The rest, I just am back. Got in a few wrecks. It was not a fault. 3 wide, I think it was, on the turn 1, and got clipped there. Saved it, at least. Anything else, I don't know what happened. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, the track definitely was very treacherous looking night. I want to ask you though, was one end of the speedway worse off than the other? Was, you know, either 1 and 2, or was it 3 and 4? Or was one of those tougher than the other?
The turn 2 is the hardest one. Turn 4 is the hardest.
All right, well, you know, a good finish for you tonight in the 2nd place, so it's going to be good for your point standings. But next Monday, we do go back to the Cannon car for a short track. That's the Thompson Speedway, that famous modified track. So how are you looking forward to that event?
I haven't ran those yet.
Well, I guess you're going to be in for a surprise come next Monday, but definitely, you know, I'm a fan of short track racing myself, so it's going to be fun to watch that one. But Chris, you know, as always, thank you so much for talking with us. But before we let you go, I'm going to give you a chance to throw out any shout-outs you want to give.
Yes, a big shout out for to my wife for supporting me here. Thanks for Jeff for doing all this for us, and really pleased. We're all excitement for it. It's fun. Thanks for you guys for broadcasting this and having a good chit chat with us on broadcasting with us. So it's pretty good. And that's pretty much it. And congrats on AJ for his win.
All right, Chris. Well, appreciate you talking to us once again, but congrats on your 2nd place finish, and we hope to talk to you again next week.
Yep, no problem.
Let's see if we can find the winner chicken dinner himself, Mr. AJ Digby. He is down right here. Mr. AJ Digby, can't reach out from the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, man, you came out here and won the race, but not just win the race, but you pretty much wiped up the field clean there. Looked like you had a very fast truck. Kind of just take us through the race in your own eyes.
Yeah, for how slippery Atlanta is, it's always a track that I like. A lot of throttle modulation and driver control, I guess you could say, and not just kind of flat out. So I've always liked this track. I've always felt pretty good here. I was real excited to start this race, and in practice I did pretty well, qualified 2nd, and I was just hoping to keep it clean and have a good race, and keep it clean I did. I didn't have to use a single fast repair, didn't even have an ounce of damage at all in the entire race. I think I nipped the wall for a 0x at one point, but it was the smallest touch I think ever, and kind of executed that plan and was able to stay out front while also having fresh tires, and was able to pull away there at the end. I would have loved it to be a little bit less caution-y, but I feel like I still would have been able to pull away there at the end, and luckily able to come up with the win.
Yeah, one of the things I've asked all the drivers so far was the track conditions tonight. Of course, it was very hot, the track itself. So how did that kind of factor into how the track drove, and was it kind of worse off on the restarts than it was actually once you got going, or you know, what happened there?
Definitely a little bit worse on the restarts, especially on the bottom lane. It's just so slick, and then the bottom lane, it kind of transitions into the apron, but it's kind of all in one. So you do have a little bit of that, like off camber. Sometimes if you're in the middle, it can mess with your car. So it was definitely preferred to be on the upper lane, and even with new tires, you could still slide it if you didn't do it right. But practicing restarts is actually something I did in practice. I kind of just wait around turn 3 and 4 until there's an open lane where I'm not going to get out in front of anybody, and then I roll it an estimated pace speed. And so I felt like that really helped me tonight with hitting restarts. I felt like I was always able to get a really good jump because I knew how much I could push it without being over the limit. And I think that was a part of the difference maker tonight.
Yeah, definitely. But really, we did see once you got going green, though, you did did get a pretty substantial lead, so I think you kind of just had speed all around. But one thing I do want to ask you though, next week we do go back to the K&N car and have a short track race at Thompson. I know you like short track, so how are you looking forward to that event?
I'm really looking forward to it. I love the K&N car, and I like short tracks. And so I have never driven that car in track combination, but it's going to be something that's going to be fun, and I'm always looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like that is going to be a bit of a question mark for everyone, including us up here in the booth watching it. So going to be really cool to see that. But either way, AJ, we appreciate you talking to us, and thank you for that. But before we let you go, I'm going to give you a chance to give some shout-outs, people you want to thank and whatnot.
Yeah, everybody in the league for great racing. Jeff, obviously, for putting this on. I can't ever thank him enough for this. I mean, it definitely makes my days on Monday or Wednesdays when I get to drive with these guys and then go back and watch the broadcast later. So on that note, thank to you guys for doing the broadcast week after week. It definitely helps make the series more fun. And my cousin Kevin for doing my paint scheme that I drive every week. I was able to keep it clean and beautiful today. And yeah, just had a great race, and wouldn't be able to do it without this league, the drivers, and your broadcast.
All right, AJ. Well, congrats on winning tonight's. We do appreciate you talking with us, and go celebrate. And definitely hope to talk to you again next week.
Thank you very much.
That was your winner tonight, AJ Digby. Pretty happy to get that monkey off his back. A very non-AJ Digby-like race, we must say. Of course, we always talk about how he has seemingly impossible bad luck week in and week out. Of course, saying he did not have to use one fast repair, so that is good to see. We never wish bad luck on anyone, but it seems to just follow him, and definitely might have shaken that monkey tonight. But I've caught up with Mr. Big Boss, Mr. Big Dude himself. Jeff Schmidt, you got a copy?
Mr. Rich, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, it's pretty good. Pretty short race here tonight. I think this is the earliest that we've kind of ended or wrapped up a broadcast in a while, so it's pretty cool to see. But Atlanta, definitely, what a track, and those track conditions were hell tonight, weren't they?
Atlanta was not nice to us tonight. It was hot. I mean, it started cooling down, and we were like, oh, awesome, we seen it go from like 120 to 90 something, and thinking that it was gonna stay consistent with cooling down. But of course, Mother Nature had different plans, and what's really weird is we seen something for the first time tonight, and myself even, seeing that when shade went over the track, it got hotter, which is very weird, because usually when that shade goes over the track, it cools down so fast and you get a whole lot of grip, and the guys just didn't get that grip. The coolest temp that we ran tonight, I think, was about 110, and it went up to about 125, so definitely a slick track. Atlanta's slick even in the 90s, so that 120 some degrees, not easy to drive. That bottom line and the restarts down there, just terrible. I mean, it's so hard. You can't even get in the throttle slow and not get it sideways sometimes. So the guys did a good job with what they had to deal with. It was just a very difficult track tonight.
Yeah, we kind of brought that up during the race. Of course, even on a cooler track, like you said, in the 90s, wheel spin always an issue, and the track still doesn't have grip. But we're talking 30 some degrees more than that. So definitely, kind of a baptism by fire per se. That about the worst track condition you can see, and I really. About in the 120s, 125-ish, I really don't see track temperatures much higher than that on iRacing, so it's about the worst case scenario that we can have tonight. And we did have a lot of good racing throughout the field, and a lot of good job from all the drivers to do what they did. But next week, we were talking with the drivers about it. We got a short track coming up, and definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. In the K&N car, it'll be a blast. I absolutely love that car. It works well at a lot of tracks. It's very different from anything else that we're used to. It might seem silly to some that, we started with trucks in this league, and then we moved to the B car, Xfinity, whatever you want to call it, and then to kind of go back to K&N for the split series with the trucks may not make a lot of sense, but it does, because it's a very cool car. I mean, there's nothing about it that makes you less of a driver to be able to drive that. I mean, if you're good at driving it, you're good at driving it, just like everything else. So it's a lot of fun. It's very racy and got a lot of grip. So it's really about just keeping the thing under you. I mean, you know, figuring out the lines is really what that's about. It can be tight at times, so it's really about just hitting your marks and figuring the lines out to be the fastest on track with those things. So it's really fun. They're very tough cars too, so you won't see guys taking fast repairs as often as you would with the trucks even, or the B car. They're pretty dang tough.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a fan of that car myself, just because I personally started on iRacing when that was the B car, when that was the car we had for the B series, and that was back when the COT still had that god-awful wing, and a long time ago. I feel old now, but either way, it's good to see that car still being used for something, and is a fun car to race. But Jeff, we know you got a lot of people to thank that keeps making this league go round and round, so let's hear it.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Cameron, you're an amazing announcer, and you do an amazing job, man. I can't thank you guys enough. You and Carlos and Peter and everyone else that's helped us in the past with 3 White TV. You guys you're top notch, man. There's no better broadcast out there as far as I'm concerned, and that's not even being biased because you're helping us out. It's true. I mean, I watch a lot of broadcasts out there, and you guys really hit the nail on the head. It's amazing. So thank you very much for always helping us out. The drivers, this is designed for them. It's a place not only for them to race and feel comfortable, but it's also a place for them to come talk to each other and have a good time. A lot of laughter. Happy birthday to Alan Capers, his birthday today. Unfortunately, he didn't have the run that he wanted to have tonight, but all in all, he had a good time. I mean, he's always laughing in the chat. He's a heck of a character. I love that guy. If he's not killing the cones, he's making jokes. So always a fun time, man. Got to thank the drivers. They're friends. Everyone that watches the YouTube videos. If you're not subscribed and you haven't liked the 3 Wide TV streams that we have here, make sure you do that, because you definitely want to be notified when we go racing to watch these things. They're very fun. Tonight was a little bit different than what we're used to with the cautions, but that's fine. It happens, and the guys still had fun, and that's all that matters. The whole point of this whole thing is for these guys to have a good time, and we're successful in that. So if nothing else, then we got that going for us, definitely. Still looking for sponsors. If anyone's interested in sponsoring us, I think it's an amazing opportunity for someone to get their name out there, and not only to get their name out there, but to help out an amazing organization I believe in. We're not technically an organization, but you could look at it that way, that any money that comes from sponsorship to us would definitely go to helping the drivers out to be able to do things that we want to do. So hopefully someone will jump on board and help us out, and I know eventually someone will, so I'm not too worried about it. Until then, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're very blessed to have our friends and family next to us to be able to go on this journey together. It's been amazing, and truly blessed to be able to do this, man, for these guys, and I just love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, guys.
And before I forget, I did know that I forgot something, but yeah, I do want to wish Alan a happy birthday, and I hope he did hit enough cones to match his age tonight. I know he hit quite a few, so maybe a bit of an old joke there, and I'll never hear the end of that one. But from myself and Carlos and Peter, what we do, we love being a part of the SimPossible family. We say that each and every week, and it holds true. It's always good to see these guys race out there, have fun, and do what they do, and it just it means a lot more than really any other league, because it's it's more of a family and a friendship thing that is a league, and that's always something that is really cool to be a part of. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up this podcast here real quick, and if Carlos can cue up those results, maybe cue the duck if he wants to as well, if we can get, not sued by Affleck. But Got the results for you guys here real quick. AJ Digby able to come home with the win. Christopher Burge second. Billy Wise third. Kyle Zimmer fourth. Fernando Matos fifth in that smoking truck that had no business really being a truck anymore. Brian Lowhead coming home sixth. Tom Johnson seventh. Alan Capers, the birthday boy, in eighth. Thomas Wise ninth. And Kevin Paskowicz, Mr. Nose Stand himself, in 10th. And your last two finishers of the night, Nick and Johnny Barr, not having the runs they want to have, but there's always next week, definitely. But like we said, we're going to wrap this thing up from Atlanta. So we want to thank everybody who came out to watch tonight, all the chatters in the chat, as well as anyone who watches after the fact, watches the replay on YouTube, whether you watch it live or the rerun. We appreciate you supporting 3-Wide TV and supporting the SimPossible Racing League. And definitely, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell too, because the bell is cool. We love bells here, so hit that bell. You'll get all the notifications here. I want to thank SimTV for those awesome cameras that we can show you the action each and every week, and definitely a lot of action to be had in this league. But that's all we got for you guys tonight. From myself, from Carlos, stay awesome, everyone.